Good morning, Luis and Shri
Good.
Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you, Daniel,
Actually,
again.
actually, it's good evening for you. Sorry, so we are upside down. So we are again with my friend Luis Garrido, and we are still talking about his memories with Shri Mataji. Looks like it's a never ending, like I like it very much. Looks like it's a never ending story, and I'm very happy about that because Luis is a very good partner of discussion. Excuse me. And today we will talk about a very interesting topic which I will let Luis to tell us what is about. So, dear Luis, you are most welcome, and please tell us everything.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for inviting us again and for giving me so much time because some things I'm telling you today, I've said it before, but in a very succinct way because there's no time. People don't want me to talk for 3 hours or four, but you've invited me so many times, so bit by bit, it gives me time to go over the details, which usually I don't have time to. I have to make it very succinct. So last time I forgot to say some details, which in fact are important. Somehow I forgot some important details. For instance, we were talking about that incident at the airport. I don't know if it was Luton Airport or Gatwick or Luton or Gatwick or not Heathrow for sure. Mother had we had the Sahaj leaders in the UK. They had chartered the flight for Mother and the yogis to go to Diwali Puja in Rome. And Mother was extremely pleased by that. That was so beautifully organized, you know. But part of that event also, there was a little idea of at a given point, we are going to sing Jerusalem to Mother just before leaving the, UK. We were going to do that. But there was a little lack of coordination in that because we were walking through a narrow corridor. So, the people at the back cannot see Mother what's going on because it's a relatively narrow corridor. There's lots of us, all the yogis virtually from UK were coming on that flight with Mother. Mother was extremely pleased with this was a tremendous initiative of the Sahaj leaders in the UK, very beautifully organized. But then there was also that song that everybody felt that's a fantastic idea. So I happened to be at the front, where next to Mother. Mother was leading the cortege, let's say. And Mother was giving some last minute instructions what to do in Italy, these things, these books. There were some boxes of books, and Mother was talking about this. And suddenly, someone from the back of the whole queue of people following Mother started singing Jerusalem very loud. As soon as he starts, big voice, kind of Welsh voice. I think I know who it was with a big, powerful Welsh voice. And did those feet in ancient time very loud. Everybody joined. And suddenly Mother's talking to us. And it's like a deafening noise, so loud, so loud, so loud. Mother felt a bit shocked. Mother wasn't expecting this. That's the feeling I have. We knew this was going to happen, although we didn't know. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but it just burst that moment on Mother. You see, without Mother knowing it was coming, and Mother was in halfway through a conversation, giving instructions for something, and she said, "What's this? What's this? I didn't ask for this. I'm going back. If you behave like this, I'm going back immediately." So people are singing Jerusalem very loud, and I said, "Don't do this now. If you continue like this, I'll go back. I'm not coming with you." So anyway, I left Mother and started running alongside that corridor, telling people to shut up. This is me telling people to shut up when they're singing Jerusalem. It's quite a weird scenario. Like, it doesn't look real, in fact, and nobody's paying any attention.
I try to visualize.
It's crazy. And I'm going like a madcap running up that corridor. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Nobody listens to me. People sing even louder. And then I had to change my wording. Mother said, shut up. Mother said, shut up. Mother said, shut up. I think gradually they stopped and it came to an ending. We got there. It's after this bad incident. So this did not please Mother. You see, Mother is extremely pleased the whole event. Everything, occasionally, suddenly things go wrong. It's very easy for us yogis, a small mistake, someone, a big, powerful voice from the back, not realizing Mother is speaking, started singing, very loud, and we all joined, of course. I didn't because I was talking to Mother. Mother's talking to me, in fact, and another person, giving instructions for something. It was those boxes of books of Mother's Shri Sadhana Didi, those books, and anyway, mother wasn't pleased. I told you that, and that's when that Indian man suddenly comes out of the blue and starts challenging mother. You see, so when things go wrong, then symbolically things escalate. Then that man starts shouting at mother. You see, so one thing after the other. And another thing I didn't say is that I felt awful with this situation because I had more or less prepared the same surprise. Me and Carol, we had also thought, okay, this is a Diwali puja. Traditionally in England, people sing a harvest festival hymn at church. There's a very beautiful one. So we have that beautiful hymn. We are going to sing it to Mother as a surprise, of course. And we changed the words of the hymn a little bit. Instead of Father, we changed it to Mother, because this is a traditional church hymn about what's the name of the hymn, Carl?
We plough the fields and scatter.
Yes, we plough the fields and scatter. So it's a beautiful hymn. Everybody, they went to school in England, Protestants, they know this hymn very well. It's an ancient one. We changed the words a little bit. We had prepared the papers with the updated wording, adapted for Mother a little bit. We had the score for Patricia. Patricia's a great pianist, so Patricia Provenza, she could play that, and she did. So now the question is, okay, I mean, is this going to be another disaster? And we spring this on Mother without as a surprise, without warning? What will Mother say? But it's a surprise. It's a surprise. But I know it went well. I tell you what happened. As Mother was coming into the hall to meet us. I think it was the Tivoli Hotel or something. It was where the meeting with Mother was taking place. It's a Diwali Puja in Italy, Rome. And as Mother was coming stepped into the stage. Patricia started the keyboard, the piano, and we joined in, and it went beautifully. And I was apprehensive. I wonder if Mother likes this. And my attention I was just wanting to see Mother's face. And Mother seemed pleased. Mother was accepting humble tribute, seemed beautiful. I felt enveloped in a sea of vibrations like a bath, absolutely waterfall of vibrations and coolness. It was amazing experience. And I could see from Mother's face, Mother accepted that humble tribute, and I was pretty apprehensive, and I was the culprit behind that second surprise by song. Okay, I think it went okay, judging from Mother's face, and I was in a sea of vibrations and coolness. It was wonderful. Then I looked at my left hand. My left hand went black. I said, goodness, what did I do? Did I touch something dirty? Why is my hand black? It looked as if my hand have been over the fire. This treatment, Mother says, you put the hand over the candle to treat the left side on the left Swadhisthana. Why is my hand totally black? I took a tissue from the pocket and cleaned it. And then a few minutes later, but the black is back again. Then I realized I was wearing a silver ring. This silver ring with Mother's face on it is a ring with Mother's face on it. It's made of silver.
I don't
And
know.
somehow,
No.
in those
Yeah.
days, you could get a ring of Mother with Mother's face on the ring, and you used to wear it, for special occasions,
Yeah.
not at home. So I was wearing that ring, being silver. The blackness from the silver came off, and it melted into my hand during that singing of the hymn. And then I wiped that with a tissue, and a few minutes later, oh, there's a bit more coming. That's when I realized, oh my God, this is coming from the ring. So this had never happened before or after. So I think Mother somehow took pity on us. I, I, I was at risk coming up with another surprise. The first surprise didn't go well. The second surprise might have gone wrong also. So it's very easy for things to go wrong. So that I had forgotten to link the two events. That Indian man who started disturbing Mother, it happened after the fiasco that, one guy took the initiative and started singing very loud. Not exactly good timing,
Yeah.
the way it went. So that's the whole story. Now, the other story that I was reporting, about Mother, when there was that gentleman, he wanted to stop Mother from coming through VIP exit. And I think, yes, Mother, you see, I don't know if I reported this. Asked Mother, was he doing it on purpose just to irritate, to be obtuse, to be an idiot? And Mother said, no. I mean, this is what happens to you people. When you have a prejudice, it makes you blind. You actually cannot see. It's like entities in your eyes. So the man, mother was showing him the book, the name of mother is there, and he cannot see it, and he's not lying. The prejudice he had, that he had made his mind that mother is not VIP, and now he cannot see even the name of mother. You see, this is boots in the eyes, mother said. This is entities. Mother said, this is not about that man. Mother was talking to us. This happens to all of you. As when you have a prejudice, it's like you are blind, you just cannot see. The entities don't allow you to even see. So, anyway, it's a warning to us. So, from this incident, if you don't mind, I'll go to another incident when I didn't report last time. I hope it's the
Uh,
last one.
yes, uh, keep keep your idea, because I want to ask you. I mean, not to ask you, but to draw some conclusion. If I may, if I see, if I
Absolutely.
understand well. So the first incident you spoke just now about the singing, it's for me very important, because the small things which we believe, or small or big, doesn't matter. The things we believe are good are not good by default, are good also in relation with timing. So
True. True.
I hope I understand well that parable of two songs. That's for me the parable of two songs. The first one, which was with good
Absolutely.
intentions.
No,
Yes,
no, no bad intention. Yes.
yes. Don't mention that you already, excuse me, plan to do that. So the guy didn't know, so he just spontaneously
Yes.
sing. For that, for me, I witness a lot of instances when this kind of stuff happen. Not all the time in Shimataji's presence, when the enthusiasm take over the good timing. So uh, that's it's a good thing to think about for the people who are taken off by the enthusiasm. So the point is, you have to control your enthusiasm and your
Sure.
behavior. That's my interpretation, or
Absolutely. Absolutely.
your first and the second one also is very important. We know that the prejudice blind you, but in that instance was not a metaphorical blindness, was just a pure blindness, which
Pure
also
blindness.
is fantastic. So I will take all your stories as parable, Luis. No, no, no. That's sorry that
Honestly.
I don't want to play the interpreter here, but that's my conclusion.
Thank you. I mean, you are very kind, but I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so the next incident. This
Next
is
one.
also a desperate incident. This is even worse. So, Matt was about to go to America, and she needed to make sure she had enough dollars in her account. So she had an account with dollars. She had to make sure somehow there's a transfer from sterling to dollars account. So mother does not want cash from the bank. It's not a matter of going to the bank and getting cash in US dollars, to travel with that. It's just to make sure a dollar account is well supplied, because it's going to be a long US tour. The mother had to take flights again, in America, and hotels and
Yeah.
public programs. So it's a very costly exercise. And mother has a little entourage, and usually mother is also, looking after the fares and the traveling of that entourage who goes with her to help her. So mother needed, a certain degree of money, or for whatever reason. I don't know if mother was planning to buy something in America or not. It's none of my business. So mother told me, ring the bank, the local branch here in Haverhill. The name of the village there is Haverhill, if you are living in Shri camps. And see if the bank manager can give us facilitate the transaction, because it's a certain amount. So mother knows about these things. So I did the phone call, spoke to the lady, and the lady said, no, 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 there's no need for an appointment with the manager. We can do this on the queue as you come, no big deal. No, no, no. But mother say, no, we want the appointment. So I said, no, excuse me, see, I'm booking this on behalf of the lady, which is VIP. She wants appointment to, make things easier, more private. With appointment, the manager has a room. is a certain amount. I told her the amount. I can't remember the amount right now, but a certain amount. So sometimes requires the manager. But the lady was so stubborn, and mother is there, listening to this call, and mother is absolutely. I mean, what's wrong with these people in the banks? They don't know how to treat a client, with respect, because mother is an important client. No, nothing, you see. This is a village, provincial, branch, really appalling, Anyway, so they refuse to give the appointment to mother. So they want mother to go to queue. All right, fair enough. But it's a big amount of money, it's easy. So we arrived there. In the end, she's playing with the buttons, the machines. Oh, I can't do this. It's too much, I have to ask the manager. All right, fair enough. So where's the manager? Oh, he's in a meeting, so you have to wait an hour, or maybe 40 minutes. I don't know. Maybe 40 minutes, maybe an hour. He'll be here, time. Just stay in the room. You have to wait, So just, so now mother has to stand there on the queue for an hour waiting for the manager. And I can see there's a free room there, which is a room where they can meet, if it's an important business meeting. They have private rooms where you can sit down, close the door, and talk. I said, can we use that room?
Yep.
I said to the lady there serving us, he said, okay, that's the manager will invite you to that room when it's free. So meanwhile, you just wait here on the queue. I said, what? The room is free. No one is using it. What's wrong? Tell the manager the client has arrived. Is an important client, Oh, I don't want to disturb the manager, she says. So I said, all right, I'm going to knock on his door and I'm going to inform him that, the situation is like this, She said, no, you are not. I'll do it at myself. Because I said I was going to ask the manager.
Yeah.
She said, no, I'll do it myself. My God, give me peace, I mean, I'm just asking a small favor. Can you use the room that's there? The door is open. I can see the room is free and empty, No, I'll do it. All right. So she went into the manager's room, left the door open. She said, oh, there's this guy here. You have a VIP client there. She needs your help, You have to see her. And the driver looks like mafia. She's absolutely like mafia.
You
You
are
about this me. And mother could hear the door was open of the manager's room. Mother heard this, and mother looks at me. Look at these people, These people are appalling, Now, why is he calling you mafia? Is it because I was wearing a white suit? It's summer. In our country, we wear a white suit in summer.
Yes. Yeah.
So I speak with a, Mediterranean accent, so it's mafia. She thought I was Italian mafia or something because I'm wearing a white suit.
You have sunglasses?
No, I did not have sunglasses even, but even just my accent and wearing a white suit in those days, she said to manager, this guy looks like mafia, this and that. They want to use that room. The manager said, let them use that room. The room is free. I'll be with them in no time. It's a VIP client. All right, I'll be there. So things weren't going well. So then the manager came. In the end, the manager came. Already, mother is not very happy with this thing, this treatment, being told to wait there in the queue, just like that, So she told me, Luis, because in that office there's a phone. You ring Sir CP and tell him to come here immediately, okay? So it's all right. So I rang Sir CP, sir, can you come now? Mother wants, bring bank references, to help with this, because this manager is getting a bit difficult, He asked mother lots of questions, and then he said, I think it's perfect. It's almost done. I just need one more reference, at least one reference. And mother said, my husband is coming. He has all the references and more, whatever you want. So I went to pick up Sir CP, brought him there. And now this part of the meeting, I'm not there because now if I'm mafia, I say I'd rather stay outside the bank in case they think I'm mafia. I made myself scarce during this meeting. So Matt was there with Sir CP to do this transaction, but it took ages, Sir CP was only coming just to provide one bank reference out of many he has. He brought a whole suitcase of references and documents and things, plus his position of authority, high position in this country, great prestige. And the whole thing is taking hours just to do a small transaction like this. In the end, mother came out of the meeting. It was done at last, but in the car, mother was absolutely furious with this treatment she had received. And she was saying things like, this is racism, she said, Some of the mother spoke about this in the car already when I was driving home. Next day, mother was still talking about this. She was upset. And the next day, the same. And so the gist of the conversation is this, mother said, look, the transaction was almost done, CCP only needed to provide one reference, which he did, and more, because he has accounts in all the big international commercial banks for the whole world, because he's dealing with the United Nations business and all that, shipping and all this, so you have 100 references if you if you needed, you see. And still it took ages, you know. And then they started ringing all the banks to check his credentials. That's what I said. You know, someone says, look, this is almost done. But when they saw Sir CP, because they saw that his skin is a little darker than mine, they got very afraid of him. Just like they got afraid of me, I look like mafia. When they saw Sir CP, they were even more afraid. So he's very big. He has the darker skin than mother. That's what mother was describing the situation, you know. And they had to check everything about him as if he's well, if I look like mafia, I don't know what they thought about him. And then mother says, they've done these things to me before, these banks and these people, and I don't mind, mother is saying, but I can't stand it, you see, if they are racist against my husband, you know. It's not right after all the work he did in this country. The things he's done, you see, for the whole international community, you know, it deserves to be better treated at this. I can't stand it when they are racist to my family, mother said. To me, I don't care, I'm used to it, but to them, I just don't like it, you know. And Matt was telling the story, and there was another Sahaja presence, very senior, in fact, from local Sahaja from Cambridge, you know. And he said, "Mother, you know, in my opinion, I don't see this as racism. I see this as professional incompetence, mother. You know, of you know, small provincial bank. You know, this is not like London. It's a small, badly equipped bank. You know, they don't have the access to things. It takes them a long time to check a reference. They're incompetent, you know, rather than racist." Mother said, "No, I'm telling you, this was racial discrimination, and I've seen it happening time and time again. As soon as they see my family," mother said, "just because their skin may be a bit darker than mine, it gets harder on them immediately, much harder. They treated them worse than me, and I can't stand that, you see." So mother had the last word against this. This was a senior Saj Yogi who, you know, is entitled to his opinion that he didn't see that as racism. He saw that as professional incompetence of a small provincial branch, you know, staff not so well trained, not so well equipped. You know. But mother was not having it. This was a racial attitude of prejudice, discrimination, you know. So sometimes if I say this story, some people tell me, oh no, mother never talks about racism. They're partly right when they say that, but sometimes she does, you know. And in fact, I googled that on the on Amruta to see if Mother's talked about racism, and I was shocked, you know. In one talk, Mother saying, "I'll be very happy that we don't have any racist Saj yogis inside Sahaj. That would be a great day to celebrate." I said, "Wow, I never knew." Mother said that's a strong statement, you know. And then I noticed, oh my God, this talk. We were going to that event, you know, in Italy. It was Diwali Puja, and the talk was the first talk Mother gave was entitled. The title they gave the talk was Racism, you see, and Saj Yoga. I said, what? Racism in Saj Yoga, the talk. I think it's the 16th of November, 1985. And then the next day is the puja, 17 November 1985. And the title of the talk is also very, very interesting, you know. Only the Saj Yogis can darken the good name of the divine. That's the title of Mother's Puja talk. Only the Saj Yogis can darken the good name of the divine. I said, wow, one talk is about racism, the other one is only, and Mother is telling you, it'll be a great day when you have no racists in Sahaj. So wow, for those who say Mother never talked about those things, they are right. Mother rarely talked about these things. But when she talked, she talked, and she talked big, you know. So I think that's enough of this type of awful incidents, you know. Mother was
I want,
pretty angry with banks.
I
Mother
want
was
to
so
make
angry with banks.
I want to make a comment about that before you start the new one. So you will start the next. Don't forget, please, what you plan
Yeah,
to
we
say,
we changed subject. Let's go to a nice subject now.
because I want to make a little comment about that one. Um, the fact that it's possible to be racism in Sahaja Yoga, it's obviously, and you make your point. But I want to bring a different angle here. Racism in Sahaja Yoga cannot be a real one. I mean, you are not a real Sahaja Yogi if you are a racist. So that that means the one who are racist are not Sahaja Yogi. That is my understanding. Probably some manifestation of some people against or yeah towards other people like whatever, probably Indians. Um, are driven by different reasons, um, like, for example, not necessarily the incompatibility of cultures, but something along those lines.
A
And
prejudice of some kind, yes.
not the prejudice. Yeah, not the prejudice, but the not incompatibility, but not being very familiar with one culture or another.
And yeah, that's
So
correct.
my concern is this small, not incompatibility, but small differences. I don't want to be judged as racism, and sometimes the people who are considered the victim are using this stuff, claiming that are racist. So there are two different things in this story. One, what you told us, which is obviously, and make your point, and Shri Mataji talk about that. But that's another comportment, behavior, which not always is racist and can be perceived as racist and can be used against, So
True.
uh,
It's subtle. It's a very subtle subject. Yes,
it's a
it's
very subtle subject, and we have to treat it very careful, because it's very easy to say, you are racist. No, I just don't want you to bring a lot of stuff who come from your folk tradition and sell it as Sahaj Yoga just because you are, let's say, Indian. That's, so that's not racism.
true. I mean,
It's
yes. I
differences
mean,
in
I
interpreting
understand. Yes,
Sahaja Yoga.
yes.
So
Absolutely,
we
absolutely.
we have to be careful. So that
Yeah,
was,
I mean, we jump to conclusions easily, and make judgments of other people. Yes, it's
yeah,
very easy to misinterpret things.
yes,
Different cultures, react, have different training or different
absolutely.
habits. Yes, the whole thing is very complex. But mother, was very strong on that point that that was racism, not incompetence.
Yeah,
And there was a Sajogi, very senior, very intelligent, very well educated, disagreeing with mother, and mother did not change her opinion. This is what it is, mother knows the
because
stuff.
Shimataji
She knows,
saw firsthand what is about. She didn't interpret it with her mind. She saw it. So, and
I mean,
again, can be that a lot, including in Sahaja Yoga, but not all the time. So we
just
have to be
if
very
it
careful.
if you don't mind me going off subject a little bit,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have a cousin is like me, we have same family, same color of skin, basically. The difference is I've been living in this country for a long time, so progressively I got whiter. And he was a sun worshipper. He's a sun worshipper. He's always doing sun tanning all his life.
Yep.
The sun doesn't burn him. He can stand at the sun the whole day. That's what he likes because he's a sun worshipper,
Yep.
And he's gone so dark, so dark, so dark. And then he thought, okay, let me grow a beard as well. So he grew a beard. He has a black beard, so he grew a black beard. He was so totally suntanned, and whenever he travels, they stop him. You see, they think this must be a terrorist. He looks like a terrorist, And they break this. They empty suitcases. They strip him completely, and check all his pockets, all his coats. They rip off the insides of the suitcases. It just looks like to them. He looks like a terrorist. So he should have done less suntanning in his case. We laugh at him.
And
All his life
shave.
doing the
And
suntanning
shave.
and shave the black beard because that doesn't help either. Then it looks like what people think, oh, this is a terrorist. So he has a hard time traveling also. So some people are at the receiving end of prejudices, from his appearance. He's badly treated, worse than I. In those days, I looked like a mafia in the eyes of that young lady at the bank. Fair enough. Mother was not pleased with those things, to call someone a mafia just
Yeah.
from because I'm wearing a suit and I have a Mediterranean accent. Mother did not appreciate or tolerate those things at all. Never mind. We move to something more pleasant. So, okay. So, Mother had asked me, you see, to write about Saj Yoga on several occasions. She had asked me to also write about William Blake. She had asked me to write my memories, my Sahaj memories. And when they actually comes in, so she told me, so have you now finished writing your memories? Oh, mother, I haven't even started, It's a disaster. When do you need them, She said, today. All right, well, I'll write them today then. But can you tell me exactly what you want me to say, what's the purpose, give me some pointers, I want to do a job. You see, it's very easy for me to write, but I can write a lot of rubbish also, and then mother would be disgusted with what I write, There's no point, and mother would perhaps throw it to the bin if I had just written without checking what is it. I need some help. I'm not a professional writer, so mother said, right, I'll call you back tonight later. I'm very busy now, and then I'll tell you what to write. Okay. So around 9 p.m., 9:30 after mother's dinner, she called me, and then she dictated my memories to me. Mother knew my memories, and she knew how this should be written for a newspaper, so she dictated. But I didn't have a pen to write, so I said, Mother, could you just hold 1 minute? I'll get the pen and paper. I don't want to lose this, Mother said, no, not at all, you just listen. And then you can write in your own words, no notes taken. There's no note taking. Just listen, take it in, and then have a nice night. Rest, spend the night resting. The next day you can write it. That night I couldn't even go to sleep. In fact, before going to bed, already I jotted down a few things I could remember. Mother said, in case I forget the whole lot. When I could wake up the next day and bang, totally blank. So I jotted down a few things before going to sleep, although it was late. And so I dictated all that. But then suddenly mother said, what about my family? Oh, your family, you'd want me to write about them? Yes. I was waiting mother to dictate that as well, what I must say about her family. But she didn't, She said, no, you tell me now. Remember, I asked you to go and visit that niece of mine, in Sheffield, I asked you to go and meet those relatives of mine in Cardiff, and you met Sir CP so many times, you met my daughters and grandchildren, what have you got to say about my family now? So now I'm being tested, you see. Some mother wants to know, what have I observed, So I did my best, I know this is like an exam now. So I'm not Mr. Nice Man who always says nice things about people, by the way. But I had nothing. I couldn't possibly say anything wrong about mother's family, Everything I'd seen was absolutely wonderful. How could I possibly criticize people who had done no harm to me or to anyone, So I said nice things about mother's family. And mother said, all right, you got that right, you see. You observed well. You seem to have learned something. You can write that yourself, you see. So, see, mother dictated my whole memories, but did not dictate it to me what to say about her family. She said, you can write that yourself. See, later on, she told me. So I thought, okay, so I've written my memories now at last. No, mother said, this was just for a newspaper article, That's just a summary, a testimonial. Now you still have to write your memories. Okay, so I'm not off the hook yet, I still have to write my memories. That's just a particular, summary or a testimonial dictated by mother, but I had to put in my own words. So mother still wanted me to write my memories, everything. And that includes, those lessons mother gave me. There was something for me to learn when she sent me to, or invited me to go and meet some members of her family. It was really interesting. I learned so much seeing mother's relatives. So these were distant relatives of mother, but still, I mean, this was a lady, a niece that was doing a post-graduation in Portuguese language. Do you believe? That's my language. I'm from Portugal. So she was doing a post-graduation in Portuguese language. She had written a dissertation about the influence of Portuguese words in Hindi, a very technical subject, And mother said, you have a word with her. Let's see if you understand what she's saying, the thesis. If you understand the thesis, she might read you a few chapters. It's a good conversation for you to have, practice, for before the exam. She has an oral exam to do, so that was part of practice. So her Portuguese accent was unbelievably good. I mean, even the accent was perfect. She spoke perfect Portuguese, and I couldn't believe it, And the dissertation was very interesting, very technical, very advanced, Obviously, very educated, intelligent lady, But then mother was talking to her about her life, what to do in life, this and that, And I mean, our attitude, yes, but our mother says yes, you see. Absolute faith. Mother is a prophet, everything mother is saying, that's it, I'll do that, that's it. No questions, the total, surrender to mother and belief in mother's powers, in mother's prophecy and advice. I mean, I wish I was at that level because when mother was giving me advice, and I can give you some examples, there was plenty of, oh, mother, but this, or can I don't know if I can do that. I might not be able to do that. It might not work. I don't know if I can, this type of doubts. There's no doubts whatsoever. This is what I learned. So I reported this to mother. I said, yes, I mean, this is correct. They are very surrendered to everything I say and any advice I give, Mother agreed with what I was, with what I had observed, you see. Then she also interrogated me about the relatives I met in Cardiff, and what I said. So that was even more amazing, because I spent longer with them, met them a few times, So goodness me, they were much better sized yogis than I. The faith they had in Mother, you see, they were telling me. A good example they gave, the children now. Supposing the children are very, very ill, we don't ring Mother and ask for help. We cannot disturb her. She's trying to save the whole universe, Her job is very, very important. We cannot disturb her. We pray to her in our hearts and she answers our problems. I said, my God, I would have rang Mother if when I'm having a heart attack. Once I was having a heart attack, I rang Mother straight away, Forgot about, oh, I could just have prayed to Mother in my heart, but no. I mean, I rang Mother for help straight away. These people, they're relatives of Mother, but they understood Mother's job, you know, in a way much beyond my understanding, and the inner relationship with Mother from the top without no need for a phone. Those relatives of Mother, they had organized the first Cardiff program when Mother first came to Cardiff in 1979. They arranged that program for Mother, so they were like Sage yogis, spreading Sage yoga for Mother, So, goodness me, I mean, my conclusions just from those two cases that Mother asked me to go and visit, they were better Sage yogis than I.
But
Definitely better
who
Sage
was
yogis than
that
I.
lady? What relation
I
have
don't
you
remember her name.
with Shri
Uh,
Mataji?
it, that lady was a niece of Shri
A
Mataji, the
niece.
one that was doing a post graduation in Portuguese language and the influence of Portuguese language in Hindi. She wrote a dissertation. Uh, the other the other relatives in Cardiff, Mother asked me to go and meet Councillor Varma and his wife and children. So Mother talked about them as great Sage yogis, the first people to organize a big program for Mother. They look after her, everything. So I think I passed the test. Mother said yes. She asked me a few things about CCP and the daughters and grandchildren, Baba Mama. I had met so many people of Mother's family. My respect was that, they are better size yogis than I, that's for sure. That's not hard in any case. To say they are better size yogis than me is not great praise. That's quite easy to achieve. But, they were better people, top people, absolutely extraordinary people, good Christians, great size yogis. The way they loved Mother, their devotion for Mother, much higher than mine. And the respect they had for Mother, the consideration, the love, So I mean, I said, right, so you can write that bit. I don't need to dictate that for you. So, but the point is, that article for the newspaper is not a whole lot. Mother wanted me still to write my memories, which include all those things. So, and I don't think I've ever recorded these things in great detail, but just to give an example, we were driving Mother once, and Mother said, "Have you got the blanket?" And we said, "No, Mother, we don't." Later, Mother said, "Have you got the pillow?" I said, "No, Mother, we don't." "Have you got some drinks?" "No, we don't, Mother." "Do you want some? We can stop at the services. They may have drinks, or maybe sometimes they have a blanket there." And I said, "No, not at all. I don't want it. It's not for me. I don't want it." "Oh, it's not for you, Mother. We don't need it also." "No, it's for my family. You see, my family are coming. Mother's family were about to arrive, you see, in a couple of weeks. Mother's preparing the house and decorating the rooms for her relatives. So they all should be well installed and well received. And the mother was making those suggestions for me. I mean, I never even thought of having these things for Mother, leave alone for Mother's relatives. But Mother said, no, not for me, for my family when they come. Then what if they ask for that or they need that, they're tired or something? Okay, Mother, I'm learning something here. This is the way Mother likes us to treat the family with a lot of love, respect, consideration. Even for Mother, she didn't ask for that, but she wanted us to do for her family. I mean, this is not a story of mine. This is from another yogi, where they told me Mother's family were coming to Ealing House, and they were coming ahead of Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji would be traveling from another country, arriving after them. So they asked Mother on the phone, how should we treat your family, Mother? And because they were arriving before Mother, I said, you treated them just like you treat me, no difference. Of course, we cannot do puja to mother's family because they are not gurus, only to mother. We don't even give them flowers, only to mother, of course. They would not accept flowers from us even, They would tell us give it to the guru, not to them. No. But when mother is saying treat them like you treat me, exactly the same way, that shows the level of how mother cared that they are well treated by us as yogis. Not that mother is telling you do puja to them. Impossible. No. They would never accept any nonsense like that. They're not gurus. They have relatives of mother. That's a different category of people. They have a role to play. Mother wants to have a family. Mother could say, "All right, I converted all these people to Sage Yoga. There's just another disciple, and now, okay, mother hasn't got the family gone. They're all Sage Yogis. They're just disciples. Mother already have millions of disciples. She's entitled to keep a few relatives also. Otherwise, how can she teach us how to be good family people? Because we are having to learn from mother how to be a good wife or a good husband, or I'm having to learn these things from mother. How to treat a wife. Mother is teaching me those things, how to look after the children, and all. So mother has to do family life also. She cannot just convert all her family to fully Sage Yogis and nothing else. Having said that, they are better Sage Yogis than I, that's for sure, and very good Christians, and they practice love. They practice these things. They did a lot of work for Sahaj. They donated so much money for Sahaj. SRCP donated all the properties to Sahaj Yogis, to each country. He didn't keep any properties in mother's name. He gave everything to Sahaj. Even the copyrights of mother, he could have kept that for his family. No, he donated that to Sahaj. It was not mother the driving force at the time, but SRCP wanted that to be done. Of course, with permission from mother, naturally. But still, he was the driving force in making sure we, the Sage Yogis, kept mother's copyrights of all the intellectual property of mother, books, cassettes, everything, videos. So how could I not say a good word about mother's family now? So mother tested me. Why would mother test me when mother already knows what I think? It's so that I get the point that mother is checking on me also. I have to behave myself properly towards the family.
Yeah.
I used to drive mother in CCP. She never told me to put myself in bandan. But when it came to driving her daughter, she said, don't forget to put yourself in bandan and raise your kundalini. Because I am a bad driver. Let's face the facts. So I had to be on my best behavior. But before I forget, because mother said things that are interesting, really. I don't know if I had the opportunity to, say in great detail, because usually there's no time. But that one day, so mother told me this question. This is a very interesting question mother asked me. It's applied to all of us there at mother's house, not just to me, but I was the one who tried to answer the question. Mother asked me, I hope you realize how lucky you are. I said, oh, yes, mother. Yes, yes, I do realize that. Thank you so much. I know. I know. All right. So mother asked me, so then tell me, why is it that you are so lucky? I said, mother, because, you invited me and my family, my wife and son to be here in your house. We get your darshan, it's fantastic. That's nothing. That's not it. That's not it. I give my darshan to everybody. I travel all over the world to give my darshan to all the seekers of truth. What you are getting is what everybody gets. I give the same to everybody. That's not it. I said, wow, okay. I need to come up with a better answer. Mother, I'm so lucky because you gave me self-realization. This was the dream of my life. I always wanted to get my self-realization, to have yoga, Kundalini awakening. I was reading Patanjali yoga and this and that. This was my greatest dream in life, to meet Jesus. I wanted to meet Jesus, and I met you. To me, I mean, I consider mother to be Jesus, and the Virgin Mary all in one, which is quite a complication for the mind initially. How can mother is Jesus, mother is the Virgin Mary, mother is everything. So, and to meet mother, this was the dream of my life. So I'm saying this to mother. This is now my new answer. I think this answer is the best answer I can come up with. And mother said, no, that's not it. That's not it. I give realization to everybody, you see. Everybody, every seeker of truth, whomsoever desires it, I give it to them. So I give up, mother. If you could tell us the reason why you are so lucky, why I am so lucky, or why we are so lucky, those at mother's house there. And mother's answer was puzzling to me. She said, okay, have you considered the great saints of the past, the great, great rishis, the great saints, the great yogis, what is it they wanted the most, what is it, what was their desire, see. Of course, I don't know the answer to that question also, but mother answered it, they wanted to keep the goddess satisfied. They wanted to please the goddess. This was their highest aim, their goal. They found it to be extremely difficult, very, very hard to achieve. Also, the goddess is pretty desireless. So, how do you please someone who has no desires, who does not need anything, doesn't want anything? It's not easy, So, but to you people, I mean, I'll make a little bracket here and say something else, I know that Mother is also extremely pleased when you spread Sahaj. That much, although Mother didn't say that. And I didn't say that either, but, I could have said that, I almost said it, that Mother can be pleased when we spread Sahaj Yoga. We know that. Or when we, for instance, do a bit of golden builders work. I had done my fair share of golden builders work. I had spent a long time helping one Sahaj Yogi electrician finish the electrics in the house. Spent a long time with him. Spent a long time helping another bricklayer, Sahaj Yogi, to finish the kitchen, who had not been finished. Then also spent a long time helping finishing the roof, doing a flat roof over the kitchen. And in those days, either for the bricklaying or for the doing the flat roof, we're going up the walls on a ladder with buckets of tar. This is very heavy, a bucket full of melted tar to put over the roof. That's a very heavy thing to carry on over the step ladders, unless you are a professional builder and you have been doing it all your life, to carry buckets of cement up the ladder for finishing those walls for the house. That was also hard. I did my best and I did some of that, plus helping the electrician almost for a year with those things, So I had done a tiny bit of so-called Sahaj building work or golden builders work, and I knew how hard it is, really hard. I mean, at one time I pulled my muscle in the arm carrying those buckets of cement up the ladder, I woke up in the night and my arm had gone dead, pins and needles, I thought no circulation. 4 a.m. I rang the doctor, emergency, I think I'm going to lose my arm. I have no circulation in the arm, pins and needles, The doctor arrived, what? You call me for this stupid thing at 4 a.m., He was furious with me, just stop carrying the buckets up the ladder, and give it some rest and it'll be fine, Don't ever call me at 4 a.m. in the night for a thing like this. So that was the end of my career as a golden builder, The doctor told me, just stop it, it'll be fine. I still continue. So it's not easy to please Mother, even those things, unless you are a really top Sahaj yogi, and have the talent and strength for building. It's not easy, Spreading Sahaj is a lifetime task, and you may have achieved, modest results, always less than one hopes for, Some people have achieved enormous results in spreading Sahaj. We are proud of those people who did so much for Mother, but it's not easy to please Mother with spreading Sahaj or building work or things like this, So when Mother is telling me there's an easy way to please Mother, you see, this is why I interrupted what Mother is saying. I'm all ears. I want to know what's the easy way, And Mother said something like this. I mean, I didn't write the exact words, but this is the gist of what she said. If you are kind to my family, loving and kind and attentive, if they are pleased with you, then I am extremely pleased with you. In fact, nothing can please me more than if you are kind and polite and attentive and loving towards my family. Nothing pleases me more than that. You see, and you know how hard it is to please the goddess. So I've really given you an easy way out. I hope you understand that. That's why you are so lucky. So this whole story about why you were so lucky, the answer to the question Mother gave is out of the blue. I mean, goodness. And then Mother said more, you see. And I hope you understand this. It's really easy to please my family. They're very simple people, very forgiving. You can do lots of mistakes, they will forgive you. They never report you to me, you know. CCP only sees the good part in people. He only sees the good side of people. He does that to a defect, Mother said. So this is how easy it is to please CCP. Simple person, good nature, sees the good points in people, never the bad points, So it's really easy to please him. If you cannot please him, I couldn't give you an easier task, And she said, try and spoil him, Invite him for meals. He was always taking us out for meals, CCP, big restaurants, CCP is not a person who is afraid of spending money, So it took us to so many restaurants, top restaurants, big bills, you know. We never even tried to invite him anywhere. Someone said, Give it a try, you know. Why don't you invite him for a meal? You can try that, see how it goes, you know." All right, so we tried to take him for a meal, and we did, you know. Except when it came to paying, he really went serious, you know. "I am the most senior person here. It's me who pays, all right? Is that understood? Don't you even dream or dare," in case he went from his back and paid the bill, you know, which we didn't. "No, no, sir, okay, you know, you are in charge here, okay." He would not let us pay. So mother asked, "So how did it go?" "Oh, very easy. We invited him for a meal and he paid, of course." You know, yes. Mother said, "I knew that would happen." Mother already knew this would be the outcome. But the point is that you tried and he was pleased. Okay, so he was pleased. We tried at least to treat him, take him for a meal, you know, but it didn't work. So mother was giving examples, you know. It is easy to please mother's family. They're not hard. I've noticed over the years, some people have criticized mother's family. Do they come back and beat them up? Do they write emails against those people? Do they complain? Nothing. They don't react. They just forgive and carry on. So mother was telling us the truth on those points. That's my observation. They were easy to please. They were good people. I saw how loving they were. And so, well, mother tested me on this before, you know, telling me I can write about this. So I tried to write a little bit about mother's family and to say, these are things mother told me in any case. So mother gave me an easy way out. I failed as far as spreading Sahaj. I mean, I went to Russia, I came to England, I was in Portugal. Spread Sahaj in Portugal, spread Sahaj in UK, in Russia, Portugal, you know, several towns, cities here in England, you know. I know it's not easy to please mother with that. You know, you need to be extremely successful to claim that you've done a good job, you know. Sahaj building, at least for me, is not easy, although I did quite a lot of that. Helped me a lot. It was good for my health. But when mother gives you such an easy way out, I'll be a fool not to take it with folded hands, you know. If nothing pleases mother more than if mother's family is pleased with me, then she's pleased with me. So I mean, I hope mother's family is not displeased with me for saying these things, because they never asked me to say anything. But mother's family never ever asked me to say anything about them. They're very discreet. They don't want people to talk about them at all, not even me. They never said a thing or encouraged me to say anything, but you know, I have to say it because mother told me to say it. Mother told me to write, so I feel I have a duty to say it. So, if I may, I'll say just another incident with CCP, which I find is, to me, is very interesting. It's personal to me. I wanted to avoid my military service. Mother agreed with that because of a health condition I had, heart a little bit, you know. Mother said it's not ideal for me to do the military service. So I asked mother help, and she said, "All right, let's see what you can do." At that time, I didn't have a British passport yet, had not arrived. So I received my second letter from the army asking me to start training in 3 or 4 weeks, you know, very short time. So I rushed to mother with that letter to see what to do. And mother said, "All right, what can you do?" I said, I mean, I could maybe start immediately a degree, go to university. Usually they postpone a little bit for you to finish that degree, and then they ask you to come with that degree then. That's it. It's pretty obvious. So you know the solution. Just do it. You know. Then mother said, "Why don't you study international law of the sea, a post graduation in that? You already had a law degree. Now you do post graduation. CCP is the top expert in that field, so you should do international law of the sea. That's the subject for you." So I made some inquiries in London. There were only two universities in the country for international law of the sea in England. One was in London. The other one was in Cardiff. There was a 2 years waiting list for the course in London. You see, that doesn't solve my problem. I need to enroll immediately to postpone my military service. The course in Cardiff, they were currently interviewing, and they said, I spoke on the phone to them. The lady told me there, for every 10 applicants, you have a place available at best. And you are from Portugal, aren't you? Yes. Okay, so even worse for you, because people coming from a country which is not a country of common law, is statute law or code law. Those people usually fail this course. The pass rate in this course is appalling. 50% of you are going to fail. We know that every year, 50% of you admit so few people in the course, 50% will fail. And we have tried in the past to accept people from countries which is not common law, and usually they failed, and they always fall in that 50% that fails. So are you sure you want to? Yes, I need to see. So she sent me the forms. She posted me the forms for me to apply, And so I told mother, this is the situation, My chances of getting a place is 1 in 10. All the applicants are very people, great legal experience in maritime affairs from their jobs. Some are judges, some are this, some are that, And they come from common law countries, not from countries like me and France and Spain, which is we call continental law or statute law, or, not common law, code law, many names you give it to it. So I said the position, this is the situation now. Mother said, I'm going to that, and I'm saying, but mother this, but mother that, but mother that. And I said, don't you worry about that. You'll get a place in the course. Mother's a prophet. You'll get a place in the course. Don't even doubt it. There's only one thing you need to do. You speak about CCP non-stop during the interview. It's a half-hour interview. Yes, it's half-hour interview. You will speak about CCP non-stop. Do you understand that? Yes, mother, I understand that. The problem is that what am I going to say about CCP for half an hour, It's not it's not easy to do a speech about CCP for half an hour. What am I going to say, Don't worry, I'll tell you what to say. And then mother started telling me what to say about CCP. So mother understood CCP's career and achievements in great, great detail. I wish I had written down what mother told me, but again, mother never allowed me to write these things. I mean, this was my training. I had to listen and then write it myself in my own words. See, that's the exercise. So I know I'm going to arrive home. I'll forget everything mother told me. I'll be lucky to do a 5-minute speech, not a half-hour speech. And mother told me speak about CCP non-stop. So the things mother told me about CCP were amazing, really. I mean, the work he did for the United Nations, as you know, the planet, 70% of the planet is covered in water, you see. So when CCP is working for the maritime side, it's looking after 70% of the planet is covered in water, in oceans and seas, It's trying to stop pollution at sea. Mother explained that to me. It's trying to save the fisheries of the world for the sake of humankind, otherwise you lose everything. It's trying to preserve the biology of the sea, the integrity of the planet. It's also trying to save human lives at sea. Lots of people, people forget that to work on the sea is one of the most dangerous professions on earth. It's like being a soldier. More people die at sea than even on the battlefield. It's a really dangerous profession. So many international conventions were needed to improve the health and safety of those poor people who work in the ships and the boats and at sea. CCP, as mother told me, it has a certain socialistic, attitude in his life, that he cares for the poor, cares for the downtrodden, you see. CCP was an orphan at one time from a very wealthy family, but he was nevertheless an orphan. So he cares for the downtrodden, the people who have difficulty in lives, So mother said he has a certain tendency for socialism as well, So he's trying to improve the health and safety of people at sea. Conventions, international conventions for preventing accidents at sea, for better safe transit at sea to prevent accidents. I mean, mother knew everything about his career and his achievements, but I was still worried. I'll arrive home, I'll forget at least 50% of what mother told me. I'll be lucky if I can manage a 5-minute speech about CCP during the interview. But then I remembered, look at this miracle. Me and Carol, you were in Liverpool. Before this, you had been in Liverpool. We wanted to start a public program there. And you asked around, where can you rent a room, And they said, oh, try the Lloyd's Marine Insurance. Lloyd's Marine Insurance. Go to that building. They are refurbishing the building. Some of the rooms are now not in use because they're going to be refurbished. And they're allowing people to use those rooms temporarily, very small fee, it's not they don't charge much, so they may even give you a free room. So I went to the Lloyd's Marine Insurance, building, and as we were waiting, to be seen by a manager, there was a coffee table there, and on the coffee table there were several magazines, and what do we see? The photograph of CCP on one of those magazines. That's CCP. I was like, goodness, what is he doing here on the coffee table? Of course, it's pretty obvious. Marine Insurance, he's a man of maritime affairs, so they had the magazine with his face on the cover. So there was an article inside the magazine about him. And then I went through that pile of magazines. Oh, here's another magazine with 2 articles about him and his achievements, So he said, no, this gentleman, if you are, can we keep those 2 magazines? Yes, you keep those 2 magazines these are magazines of the IMO, the International Maritime Organization. So we kept those two magazines. So when I arrived home, after mother taught me the subject of SCP and what he did for as a top lawyer of maritime affairs, what he did, I had the magazines at home with 3 articles about his life achievements, already up to that date, because his achievements continued to develop. But up to that point, I was updated with those magazines, plus what mother told me. So I was able to do a half-hour speech about CCP during my interview. And mother said, you'll get the place on your course for sure. And mother is a prophet. In fact, I believed so much at that point in what mother was saying that me and Carol, we moved to Cardiff straight away before the interview. We rented rooms next door to the university so we can do the course. So I've not been offered a place on the course, and the professor asked me, "So where do you live?" I can see here on the form you live next door to university. Isn't that convenient? Did you know I was going to? Did you happen to know I was going to offer you a place or what? You know, well, I didn't know what to answer because yes, I knew. Mother told me, "Don't you even doubt that you will get a place on the course." And so it happened. But the most unexpected thing that happened during that interview, at the end of my interview, the professor says, "You know what? I'm going to offer CCP to become a professor of law of this university. That way, he's the top expert in this field. At least he gives us one lecture because usually when you offer this position, they will deliver a master class at least. And I feel ashamed that you have met him so many times. I've never met him. And I'm your professor of these things. So mark my words, I'm going to offer him to become a professor honoris causa, or it's an honorary position of professor of law of that university. So I rang mother to say, look, mother, something really unexpected happened. The professor decided to give CCP that position. Mother said, surprising. I'm not surprised at all. I don't find it surprising. What's surprising is that it took them so long if you look at this CV and what he did for the world here, how he worked so hard. I'm surprised it took them so long to reach that conclusion. They had to see that you, just a student, already met him, and the professor has still not invited him, has still not met him. So what's surprising is not they offered him that. He deserves much more than that. What's surprising is it took them so long. It took them meeting you to have that brilliant idea. So mother came to that event where they awarded CCP. A year later, mother came with CCP, and mother's daughters came too to receive that award, becoming professor, honorary professor of that university. Mother was pleased with that. And but I didn't know the dates. I mean, I'm just a student there. I'm not informed the day SCP is coming and mother, nothing. I didn't know a thing. I was no longer there, in fact, because I'd already moved out of Cardiff and I was doing I was writing my dissertation, and I decided to come to London to write it in London, not in Cardiff. And so I saw mother at the airport, and mother says, "Congratulations, Louis. You did really well on your exams. Congratulations." I said, "Mother, there must be a big misunderstanding. My results are not yet out. My results will be available in a week's time. Nobody knows my results. Whoever gave you that information is probably a misunderstanding of some kind. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe it's not me." I said, "I'm telling you, you did well on your exams. And I spoke to your professor." Ah, okay. Mother was going from. Mother talked to my professor. She asked me how did I do on my exams. So mother got my results before they were published. The teacher told mother, I came first in 3 subjects out of 4. So mother said, see, such yoga can help, you see. It's true. I mean, I was at a disadvantage in that course, coming from being one of the, least prepared students in the course. My English was poor. I came from a different system of law that doesn't help. And even then, I got the best results in 3 subjects out of 4. The subject on common law, that's the one where I didn't get such a good mark. I just scraped through that one because that's the one where most people like me, coming from a different system of law, usually fail. But I scraped that one, passed that one, and got top mark on the other 3. Someone said, see, such yoga can help, you see. It's true. I mean, this was a blessing from mother. So I don't know. There must be a lot more I forget to say now. Anything comes to mind, Carl, that I could have said or forgot? But that's basically it. If people ask sometimes, why do say a nice word about Shri Mataji's family. Well, I wouldn't knew if mother told you what she told me. I think I'd have to be very foolish
I
not
want
to
to
say
ask
the truth.
you, I want to ask you something on the subject of Sri Mataji's family and pleasing God. There are, looks like the are two subjects, but it's only one, obviously. For example, for me, was very new the fact that Sri Mataji said that pleasing her most is our attitude towards her family. So was very new for me listening to you, but was always in my heart. So I find it no brainer that having at least normal respect for Sir CP and the extended family of Shimataji, it's something who should be, again, very normal for all the Sahaja yogis.
I feel the same way. I mean, if I may say something else.
So obviously, I cannot said that if Shimataji will ask me the same question as you, I will have the answer. No, I don't. I don't have the answer if Shimataji asks me. But on the other hand, this subject is for me, like I said, no brainer. But I want to add something like pleasing God. And I want to know if you think about that or you will agree with me. I believe also that little daily gesture, very small gesture towards Shimataji and towards God, will also please her more than any puja we will do it. That's my
I agree.
my
I agree
understanding.
that there are the ways. There are the ways of pleasing mother.
Yes.
And I mean, I've heard mother say this on tapes, you know. Once I was shocked. I heard mother say something like this on a tape. It's not private. That I give much more importance to the way you treat other Saj yogis than the way you treat me. I mean, that's something else, you see. Mother's telling me she gives more importance to the way I treat her family than the way I treat her. But to us, on a tape, she said something similar. I give more importance to the way you treat other yogis than the way you treat me. I give more importance to see if you give presents to yogis instead of giving presents to me, that is the same, you know. That pleases me even more when you give presents to other yogis than to me. I said, wow, this is a novelty for me. But I heard that on a tape, you know, so it puts things in context. So what Mad is saying is very similar to the teachings of Christ. I was going to say something else. Oh, yes, something Mother told me that I think was important also in this context, you know. She told me something about you know the Portuguese when they started the discoveries of the seas, you know, and colonization. You know, we discovered the maritime route to India. You know, so this is one of the greatest achievement in Portugal in the 16th century. This was written a big poem. A big poem was written in honor of the greatest national hero, which was Vasco da Gama. So this man, he arrived in India, you know, and nowadays, you know, people would not even praise this man. They say, "Well, he's a colonialist." You know, he was a man of guns. He carried his guns. He was a colonialist. But what mother told to me about him was very sweet. I mean, very nice. She said, "This man, when he arrived in India, he landed there in Calicut, you know, and he saw many statues of the of Sri Mahakali, you know. Now in Portugal, we our country is dedicated to the Virgin Mary. Since the beginning of the nation, that country was the country of the Virgin Mary, you know. That's our tradition, you know. So we have lots of statues of the Virgin Mary everywhere. And this Vasco da Gama, he said, these Indians, they are better Christians than us. They have even more statues of the Virgin Mary than us. Or these were not statues of the Virgin Mary, these are statues of Sri Mahakali in that place. So he writes to the king that we cannot wage war against the Indians because they are good people and better Christian than us Portuguese. What you can do is commerce you can do, trading, of course, and the mutual treaties of mutual defense that we can do. So it changed the whole program from the king was to invade and grab some land, No. Somebody said, this is a good man. He understood that the Indians are better Christian than the Portuguese. So because mother taught me this was very important to me because we spent years trying to study at school this big poem in honor of the national hero. No? We couldn't understand this poem. And in a nutshell, mother explained the meaning of this poem to me, which was a very useful thing for me to understand other poems of Blake, which are also prophetic. This was also a prophetic poem in Portugal about the destiny of the nation when at last the culmination of it is to discover the maritime route to India. And Mother is explaining means a country of seekers who want to go to India as the mother, the land of the goddess. So this is a spiritual journey. That's the meaning of the poem. And Vastagama, was worthy hero because of his attitude, not an attitude of war, but an attitude of respect towards the country of the mother goddess. So mother was very kind to say that. So I would say, it's my way of saying thank you to mother for being so kind, saying nice things about my country. I would say mother's family are better Christian than the Portuguese. They're better Christian than I, and they are better Saj yogis than I. So I'm paying back the compliment to mother. Mother's family are better Saj yogis than me and better Christians than I, for sure, and they're excellent in every regards. So I'm
Oh,
glad mother taught me this about Vashdagama, so I can apply it. I'm trying to apply what mother taught me about Vashdagama.
the story with Vasco da Gama, it's also very interesting because again, maybe you realize now that I always try to find uh, two ways of seeing one or a situation. So this is again a very interesting point you make it now, pointed also by Shri Mataji. So my conclusion is not all the colonialists was bad. Like everybody wants to put in one basket all the colonialists only for the ideological reasons. So it's good also to be very careful when we put labels.
I
So
agree. I agree.
better to to be very careful even when Shimataji talk ill about the English who uh, stay in India for 300 years. Even there are probably little good things in that.
Exactly. Good points
uh,
were also there.
that's one. Secondly, before the English were people much worse than the English
True. True.
in India. So India, yes, was in a way conquered by the English, ruled by the English. But that's have a good point in the end because that make India as a country. So
True.
uh,
True.
practically the British help a lot to unite all the kingdoms who were other ways separately. But before you start another subject, I want to make another point about Sir CP and also a little comment about your stories with the uni. Was very interesting, the story, although uh, our viewers will remember if they saw all the episode with you that you tell the story once, but not with so many details like today. But and was good because today you bring more details in that story. Uh,
If there's time, when you are relaxed, you can. Otherwise, usually I say these things in a succinct way because there's no time.
yes.
I wanted to finish with one last story, just to change subject. This is not a story of mine so much, It's mostly about another Sajyogi. This happened on the Indian tour, and that is a kind of special memory of mine also. If there's time, I'll go into detail with this one.
Yes, sure.
So, so we arrived at the tour, and mother was not pleased with us, all of us. She said that she was getting pains from us, the Saj Yogis. As we arrived on the tour, we were so right-sided, so agitated, nervous, and that mother was getting pains from us. That's what she said. She said, "All right, so tomorrow." relax, do nothing, don't do anything, no thinking, no planning, no doing, no activities, just relax, we can go for a walk or just relax. So I went for a long walk to relax, and I found myself lost somewhere, there's nobody here. And at the end of a long distance, oh, there's one tree at least. Oh my God, let me go to that tree, get some shade. So I sat there under that tree just to cool down a little bit. There was no other tree in the area. There's not that many trees there in that area, in fact. So I walked towards that tree in the end to get some shade after a long walk. I was sitting there and suddenly a taxi arrives. So this taxi arrives. It's a Sajogi was arriving, the next day after the tour had started. So not very late, just the next day. And is arguing with the taxi driver. The taxi driver that refuses to take the suitcase from the boot of the car for him. So he has to go and take the suitcase out of the boot himself. He's kind of shouting and arguing with the taxi driver. The taxi driver refuses to take him to the point of meeting, which is further down where the camp is. No, he's in a rush. The taxi driver is in a rush. That's it. There you stay and dump the guy there. This is Sajogi, an old Sajogi with a really heavy suitcase that I could hardly lift that suitcase. He was in a bad shape. So because he wasn't expecting to meet, even that place was like a desert, and there I am, in the middle of nowhere. So as a kind of a prank, I said to him, and he was very, very hot and very angry and arguing. I said, "Sir, Mother sent me here as your," I was smiling, of course, "as your reception committee. I'm here to receive you and to carry your luggage, sir. So I'm here at your service. So I'm Mother's reception committee sent specially for you." I was just trying to use my silly humor, see if he could give me a smile. I think he realized I was teasing, so he relaxed a bit. So I had some limkas, this type of juices from India in my bag. I gave him a limka to drink. He sat down on top of his suitcase under the tree. His humor. He was in a better humor, you see. And then I said, the problem is going to be carrying this suitcase, you see, because he's telling me the same. The suitcase is like a ton. I cannot lift this up all the way, big distance up the hill, to go to the camp. It's a massive distance. And I said, well, I'm here to carry a suitcase, but there's only one problem. Mother told me to only carry weights on the days I'm feeling well because of heart condition. If I'm feeling well, carry as many weights as you want. If you're not feeling well, don't. So I will carry your suitcase, but if I don't feel well, I dump it where it is. So that's the deal. So what we need now is a couple of soldiers. I'm still teasing him. That's all we need, a couple of strong soldiers to carry your suitcase all the way up the hill. And he says to me, yes, wouldn't that be nice if we could have a couple of soldiers to do that? All right, so let's wait. I said, let's drink another limca. I had another limca in my bag or two. We drank another limca, and suddenly we were chatting, and I see two people running. There's the soldiers, see? Now Mother's sending you two soldiers. I'm still teasing him because I had seen those soldiers. These are Sajogis, French, were doing military service. So during the tour, they have to keep fit and go for a run and keep us, run so much hours per day and do so many push-ups and press-ups. Otherwise, this was the condition under which they were allowed to come on the Indian tour and take 3 weeks off, but they had to maintain fitness. So this is great. They were exercising. I saw them running all the way miles. I was waiting for them to come back. Maybe they can carry the suitcase for us. I'm still teasing him. I'm just playing with him. So all you need is two soldiers. And I said, oh, look, Mother sent us two soldiers. Can you believe this? So they were coming fast and furious running. I stopped. Hey, and I told them in French, I'm not Napoleon, I said to them, but can you please help here? When I said I'm not Napoleon, they almost fell on the floor because some people are of the opinion that I used to look like Napoleon. I used to be teased at school because in our school books we had some paintings of Napoleon and people used to laugh. Looks just like Louis. So there are certain paintings of Napoleon where he looks like me or I look like him, whatever you want to say. And in fact, when I went to Russia, when I arrived there, the Sajogis were laughing at me and they said, look, looks like Napoleon has just arrived. They also, they must have a painting there of Napoleon that also looks like me or I look like him. So this is funny now. So when I told those soldiers that I'm not Napoleon, but can you please help? So they did. They said, oh, the suitcase, that's great. because this is good exercise for us. So they started running up the hill and they were throwing the suitcase at each other, as a kind of a physical exercise. So we're looking at these two guys. Now they're playing with the suitcase and running up the hill with it. So all right, we better start walking. And then they stood guarding the suitcase. When they reached the top, they stood there guarding the suitcase. So I'm really pulling his leg to this guy to the limit. So we start chatting, and he tells me, "You see, I'm a Saj yogi. My life is Saj yogi," he tells me. And now suddenly, the doctor diagnosed that I have a cancer of the bladder, you see. This is, out of the blue. How can this be? Because I consider myself, my life is Sahaj. I've never had any problem. And now this is appalling. And I didn't want to come to disturb people on the tour in case I'm ill. But all the Saj yogis forced me to come. I had to come, I had to come, I had to come. So here I am. But, I'm not pleased with this. And that taxi driver as well, then he explained, he has to attend the weddings. This is why he was in a big rush, you see. He said, I can take you to Ganapati Pule, but, I need to come immediately back. And on the way while driving him, he never stopped for him to have a drink or to use the toilet. He had a bladder issue, apparently, cancer even. He needed to stop, use the toilet, take drinks for the kidneys. This is very important. And the taxi driver said, no, because I have to, time is short and I need to be on time for a wedding, and they dumped him there in the middle of nowhere. So you can imagine just how furious he was. He comes to tour to get this help, and now things aren't going well. But luckily I was there, and I started teasing him, of course, with all these things, the Napoleon, and mother sent me here as your reception committee. I'm here to carry your suitcase. We need 2 soldiers. I had seen those Saj yogis run in that direction. You would come back ultimately. So I was just teasing him. And so we're having fun. He was lightening up, So that's when he told me about that so-called diagnosis of cancer, of the bladder or whatever it was. Then during the tour, there was a time mother put the feet in the river, and everybody was doing a huge queue to wash mother's feet in the river puja. That was amazing. I saw the queue was so big. And I said, maybe not everybody gets a chance to do it. I've had many chances of rubbing mother's feet and doing puja. I'm not going to push my way to be the first. Maybe I'll be the last if there's a chance, if there's time to do it. So by the time the whole queue was gone, let me see if mother still allows the last one to do it, because I would like to do it also, if mother is not in a rush. But mother, by now, was sitting there in the river with 2 Indian leaders next to her, one and mother's talking. So mother was not actually doing any more puja or anything. She was just talking to those Indian leaders. But the feet were still in the water. So I started going into the river. I kept a certain respectful distance. Mother saw me. Okay, come on, you can come. There's still time because mother is talking to the Indian leaders. So I'm there rubbing mother's feet, a long, long time. And mother is talking in Hindi, I think, or Marathi, I don't know, with those leaders non-stop. So mother had a lot to talk. And that gave me a chance to spend a long time, washing mother's feet, there in the river. And then I see from a distance, there is our friend, the one I met, for which I was the so-called committee reception sent by mother. I was teasing him. And I said to him, come on, come and do this. This is good for you. I could see he hadn't done the ritual because he was totally dry. I was also dry until I entered the river, of course, but he was totally dry. So this guy also like me. Maybe he felt the queue was too big, he didn't do it. So I told him, come. Because I told him, come, he must have assumed that it's mother who's giving the order, not me. So he just jumped, just jumped into the river immediately, Now, there had been an incident in the tour. I think one lady lost the passport and the wallet, and this was reported to the local police. The police did a massive investigation to see who stole the passport and the money from this poor lady. But nobody had stolen, The police, the police know who the possible suspects might have been. Some people very poor, maybe, or some children a bit naughty. After big police search, the police reached the conclusion: no, no one has stolen anything. It's lost somewhere. You better look for it. So mother took the advice of the police as being correct. They are professionals. So mother said, right, let me look at the suitcase of that lady. She said, oh no, I've checked my suitcase 5 times. It's not there. Mother said, let me check it only once. Mother said, I'll check your suitcase just once. Mother went through the suitcase. She found a packet of cigarettes, in the suitcase. He said, "All right, I think I might confiscate those if you don't mind." Yes, yes, mother. I mean, I've almost given up. I only take one per day in the evening. I used to take 2 packets a day. It's only one now, you know. Mother said, "All right, now I'll confiscate those and you go down to zero. You see, I promise you, you'll be fine. You'll survive it." So some mother confiscated those cigarettes, you know, and matches or lighter or whatever. And then lo and behold, there's a passport. This lady had looked for it 5 times in the suitcase, and there's your wallet as well. So the whole police wasted so much time, you know. So what they said to us, now in future, you have to carry your passport and wallet with and ticket with you at all times on your satchel or whatever, you know. So when you're going in the river, because this was mother's instruction, we're all carrying a little. Our valuables with us, never leave them in a suitcase or nothing, always with us at all times to avoid these situations. So when you jump into the water, you see that's a danger. The money gets wasted, you know, in the water. The passport gets wasted. Our watches, you know. Now we're keeping all our valuables: the watch, the glasses, you know, the everything with us on a little satchel, you know. Those who have a bag or something or pockets. So this gentleman, you know, jumps into the water. Suddenly, he's not very tall. He's much. I mean, I'm not tall myself, but he's even much less, much shorter than I in height. And they had bad luck. He went through a dip in the river where it's not flat. Sometimes it goes through deep. Suddenly, it disappears. He's walking towards mother, disappeared, you know. Where is the guy? He's gone. He's not. Why is he not swimming? He's just walking, and the water is instead of swimming. I don't think he knew how to swim. That's my conclusion. You see, this is really horrible. And mother is talking to the Indian leaders and she tells me, "Quick, get him out, get him out." Mother is the one. I saw that, but I was doing nothing. I said, "Get him out! What are you doing?" So I went and lifted him up a little bit, you know, so the nose is above the water, you see, and then suddenly the level of the river gets not so shallow, a bit higher. Then he can walk okay. By now, his ears are full of water. He can't hear anything. His glasses are totally wet. His satchel has gone underwater with the money, passport, this, that, you know. So when he arrives in front of mother says, passport, you know. So I'm telling him, his ears are full of water. Passport, please, passport. And he's looking at me as if this guy must be a madman. I already teased him that I'm the reception committee and I commanded some soldiers to come to take his suitcase. And now he's there in front of mother. I'm telling him, passport, please, you know. He said, you must think I'm from a different planet, you know. Passport? Yes, passport. Mother wants the passport so to keep it dry, you see. So, oh yes. So he gives me the passport. Wallet, please. The next thing, mother wants the wallet. So to make sure it's not wet, you know, otherwise the money, photographs, everything gets lost. Money? Really? Yes, money, please. He can't hear properly. His ears are full of water. So he gives his wallet. I give the wallet to mother. Watch, please. Okay, oh, do you want my watch too? Is that all right? My watch. He gives the watch to mother. Otherwise, some watches are not waterproof. They get lost, you see. So mother is trying to dry them and look after his watch as well. And then glasses, because he can't see a thing. Mother is going to dry his glasses now. So mother said, glasses, please. So now this guy, he can't hear, he can't see. Mother took his wallet and his passport. Is in a position that is a bit awkward and they can't hear anything. Now, I didn't tell you this detail, but this from Muslim tradition. He comes from a Muslim country, you know. He learned Islam from not a Christian. He was a Muslim from birth, you know. Of course, that's his religion, you know. Yeah, Saj Yogi, top Saj Yogi, really. Suddenly, he looks at mother. Now he got rid of the water. He almost got rid of his life there under the river. He got rid of his wallet, passport, watch, glasses, and suddenly he got a vision of mother as Allahu Akbar. This is out of the blue. So Allahu Akbar, and he starts doing and does a namaskar in the river. When you do namaskar in the river, you go on the water. Glug, 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 there he goes. And mother said, get him out of there. Mother said, get him out of there. I get him out of there. He's like stunned again. His ears are full of water. He hasn't got glasses. He doesn't know where he is. But all he can see, his mother is Allahu Akbar. So there goes another Allahu Akbar. You know, and this dives deep into the river to do namaskar there in the river. Glug, 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 glug. There he goes again. I said, get him out of there. Because I think mother knew, I don't know if he can dive or not or swim. He's not afraid of dying or, of you know, dying in the water. I have to push him out of the thing. He did that he must have done at least three namaskars there. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. He had the greatest vision of Mother as Allahu Akbar that as a Saj Yogi had never seen that before. So I think I love this story, It's someone else's story, it's not my story, but I happen to be present. And there are always some interesting memories. With Mother, it's always something surprising happens, Really surprising things can happen any moment. He had a great vision of Mother as Allahu Akbar. And by the way, I think it was a misdiagnosis, the whole thing. Or either he got cured on the tour, or it was a misdiagnosis. So he got the fright for nothing about this bladder cancer or whatever it was, the whole thing was a nonsense. He was fine. He was absolutely fine. Either he got cured or it was a misdiagnosis, either one or the other.
Um,
That's
I took that final story also as a parable because it was very interesting the process of striping him about everything.
Yes, glasses, ears, he can't hear, he can't see, money, passport.
All the
Yes,
valuables, but also all the senses,
true, true.
because he didn't see,
He couldn't hear or see.
he didn't hear. So all of the sudden he have to be striped about the senses and about the valuables to recognize the infinite of Shri Mataji. So yeah, it was fantastic story. What if you have more, I really want to hear, but uh, some other time, um, because I want to keep those meeting of ours in a certain length. Obviously, I can cut it, but I don't like to stop the flow. So you have more things to share with us?
I think I've shared everything, even those things I said before, but you give me lots of time so I can go into more details or look into the context of the things Mother said. Sometimes there's no time to describe the situation in detail. So thank you for giving me the time and making me relaxed. So it's easy for me to remember things and in a rush, I cannot say these things, I forget.
Yes, it's better to write them down and better to tell them uh, without any pressure and yeah, uh, of length. Only one thing I want to I I remember when you talk about Shimataji's family and Sir CP. I have only one question, which is a bit unusual for the Sahaja world. Why do you think um Sir CP is regarded sometimes by Sahaja yogis? That's the point. As a um, not so good force to be nice in my description. So,
I have my petty theory on that point.
do you have an answer to that?
Yes, I have. It's my petty theory. I think Saj Yogis, all of us, we felt stunned, and shocked. The moment Mother became ill, it's as if we lost our senses, our head, the shock of it that Mother is not well. Mother may pass away and have the Mahasamadhi also, And I also remember feeling that way. How can Mother ever be ill when she can cure anyone else she wants to? She has all the powers of Christ. She can cure anything. If she could at least cure herself, we'd be very happy. But it's frustrating to see that Mother, decided to do differently. It's a choice.
Yeah.
And we were all shocked. And I think we were distraught. Everybody was distraught by this situation, the prospect we lose our mother, what will happen to us, how do you, I mean, Some people afraid that the moment mother passes away or Mahasamadhi, the whole Sahaj will disintegrate, it will all be lost, we go to hell, there's a big attack, I think this is the psychological tension we're all suffering, that caused people to. It's like a witch hunt, when people feel that our safety is at our community is at danger. If we are losing our mother, we are all lost, you see. And then the witch hunt starts, where is Satan? Is this Satan? Where is Satan? Who is Satan? It could be me, it could be you, Daniel, it could be anyone, this is human beings have this tendency for witch hunts, it's panic, absolute panic. We were not prepared. I mean, mother prepared us, but we have difficulty facing these difficulties.
I thank God that I didn't be close to those events by that time, but with the risk to be labeled as senseless, I never feel bad about Shimataji being ill or Shimataji being uh, uh, leaving us. Again, I can be labeled as senseless, but I always believe that everything who happened because Shimataji wanted. That's exactly like Jesus wanted. That the chain of events they choose it. So no evil between us, and everyone who believe like that, for me, uh, it's a person who do not understand Shimataji and Sahaja Yoga properly. I never said ever about someone, this guy is not a Sahaja Yogi. I never. Because I don't know what it's in his heart, how he is relation with Shimataji. But what I can say is for about someone is this guy do not understand properly Sahaja Yoga. That I can say. So for me, the people who believe that everything that's happened is because of some evil or because of some person or because of a group of person, for me, it's a very bad understanding of Sahaja Yoga. It's a human understanding. It's a lack of rising to the rank of the real Sahaja Yogi who can understand everything. That's an emotional reaction. That's an emotional understanding. Uh, Again, thank God that I wasn't there, and the distance helped me to see differently because I cannot say how I will react if I will be close to Shimataji. So that it's a good thing in a way.
Yes, yes, it takes perspective. I
Yes.
think history will give us a new perspective, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a thing called knee-jerk reactions, people panicking and coming up with all sorts of theories, these are conspiracy theories.
What's the difference between these guys and the guy from middle age?
Yes, I mean, this
What's the
witch hunt.
difference? No
We are
difference.
humans. That's how we are as human beings. We are still like that, all of
Yeah,
us,
but on
all
the
of us.
same, hand, we are very big Sahaja, very evolved. This
We are
is
still
the
learning.
evolution.
We are still learning to
Of
be
course,
Saj yogis.
of course, but we have to admit that
Yes, it's
the
not easy. I
first
mean,
the first thing on the path of becoming a big Sahaja Yogi is to realize that you are not yet a big Sahaja Yogi.
I agree with you totally. I hope I remember that.
But this is not for you,
No, it
Luis,
is. It is for
because
it's for everybody. It's for
we are on the
everybody. I mean,
same
it's the
we are
same.
on the same page.
Look, I can tell you one thing. Once per year, I get a certain awareness that I'm on an ego trip. That's once per year. I should see that every day. Once per year, I get the shock. Oh my God, I'm on a big ego trip. How did this happen to me again? Again, yes, again. How? Why don't I see this every day? But sometimes I see it, very rare. I cannot see my own ego, for instance, most of the days, and I should. Once per year, at least, I get the realization, oh my God, I'm such a stupid idiot. It's unbelievable. And I wish I could see that every day.
Wow. Um, Dear friend, I thank you very much for this beautiful meeting. And I hope you remember few more things to have an excuse for another one. But
I think gradually, I think I've recorded everything.
yes, but
But
you never know what you
it,
remember.
yeah, it's just a matter of how much detail, if there's time to give or not.
Yes, yes, I'm here for you. And if you remember some other things, or if you want uh, to explain more some things we have not too much time to talk about, you are most welcome. But in the
Well,
meantime,
you've been very kind. Thank you so much, Daniel.
yes, and plus, you always have a new book. Mine is not arriving yet, but when will arrive, that will be another reason for another meeting. But for the moment,
Yeah,
uh,
that's long enough for today. Yes, yes.
let's stop here. Thank you very much again. Thank you for everybody who are watching us, and let's meet again next time. We don't know
Thank
yet
you.
when.
Thank you. Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji.